Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back for another episode of Higurashi. Last time the bid thing was kill squad confirmed. Rena, Shion, and Keiichi are now all in on murdering Teppei. Um will it go well? I mean the murder will probably go better than Keiichi's attempt anyways, I think. In the long run I don't think it'll go that well. Um but we'll see. We'll see. Um, and they're all acting creepy together. It is interesting in seeing like multiple people, probably like a higher level in the Hinamizawa syndrome, like work together. Um, so it could be kind of entertaining because like the last part of last episode was kind of memey in like a creepy way though. So it's a pretty cool vibe. But yeah, let's see what happens this episode. Guess we need a plan on how this is gonna go down. Watching Higurashi is tomorrow, so they don't actually have a lot of prep time. But yeah, let's get started. A chilling silence filled the room. I found myself fidgeting and feeling uncomfortable even though I was in my own room. Rana sat by the window and gazed out at the village as night fell. We all agreed to meet at my house to put our plan together. But even though it was well beyond our age, meeting time, Shion still hadn't arrived. Rip. Shion wasn't planning on betraying us at the last minute, was she? Doubt played my mind. I scratched my hair in an attempt to shake it off. Dull pain coursed through the back of my head, and the strange feeling slowly dissipated. I mean, doesn't really make sense since Shion likes Totoko. So, we'll see what's happening.
見よう見まねで俺が入れてみたんだけど、多分味は問題ないと思うぞ。親戚が送ってくれたやつなんだけど、東京じゃ結構人気あるんだってさ。
Rena's not having it. Rena didn't respond to anything, she just pointed her eyes out the window and stayed silent. I sat quietly, drinking tea alone like an idiot. Hey, no shame. Even though I drank and drank, it never quenched my thirst. Rena muttered only that. And then we fell silent. Rena slowly lit her dry lips. It made a moist, alluring sound. Even though I wasn't sure I could stand, I rose to my feet. And at the same time, Rena vigorously turned back. I flinched the moment Rena's piercing gaze fixated on me. She hasn't been here, so makes sense, kinda. Oh, never mind, I guess. Joke, I was lying. Rena continued staring at me as she came closer and closer. Oh my god. Rena seemed like she was looking right through my heart as she said that. I mean...
何言ってんだよ。仲間疑うなんてどうかしてるぞ、レナ。
True.
レナ、ケイチ君のことは信じてるよ。
おう。
だから絶対裏切らないでね。
Don't worry, we got you, Rena. Rena grabbed my arm and squeezed it tight.
わかった。約束する。
絶対だよ。
Jesus, Rena filled her hand with incredible strength as she squeezed me. So much that it hurt.
絶対。
Struggling to mutter a response, I nodded several times. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's go. Struggling to mutter a response, I nodded to her several times.
レナも絶対ケイチ君を裏切らない。もしも約束を破って
Getting
しま
some
ったら
sue me vibes right now.
今度はレナがお社様にお仕置きされちゃうから。
After saying that, Rena gave me a sickeningly sweet smile. When Rena released my arm, there were clear red marks on the spot where she was holding me. The super grip strength. It looked like a stamp and it felt warm and tingly. Suddenly, I thought that this mark would stay with me for the rest of my life. After this, we're going to put our terrible plan into motion. Assuming that we're able to carry out this plan successfully. However, our complicity in the crime will stay with us for the remainder of our lives. Our entire relationship would fall apart if someone were to ever reveal our secret. We'll be constantly watching and warning one another to avoid treading the road to ruin. That tense atmosphere will likely follow us until we die. A staggeringly long time, holding on to it for an entire lifetime. A mark engraved so deep that it would last forever. I wonder if my heart can endure that without breaking.
圭一君がもしも転校しちゃったとしても、レナは会いに行くよ。
Okay.
圭一君がレナのこと忘れてしまわないように。
Rena said that as though she'd read my dispirited mind.
でもね、
心配なんかしてないって。
そうだよね。だってひなみ沢の人間は
Oh my
たとえ
god.
村を出て行ったとしても必ず不思議だよね。どこに逃げても必ず引き戻されるの。
The sound of me swallowing my spit vividly echoed across the room.
だから心配しな
I
く
feel
て
like
いいんだよ。
in this arcade she's been swallowing her spit very loudly. Because I remember reading something very similar last episode. Rena's words went deep into my heart. There's no turning back. Rena's eyes were fixated on me like she'd never let go. Nothing could turn them away. I can no longer run away. My retreat has already been cut off. I'm already crawling down this road. It's time to walk on my own 2 feet. Suddenly, I heard the doorbell ring off in the distance. Rena quietly nodded to me. I bit my lip as I opened the door to my room. Then, I slowly descended the stairs while sorting out my thoughts. Step by step. Creak. The wood felt cold to the touch as it creaked underfoot. Heading down, step by step, just to be certain I'm on the right path. Steadily moving myself forward. There is no other way. Don't look back. You're on the right path. I was filled with a peculiar sense of purpose. I felt no fear. So I'll follow this path. And then I'll open the door. And our ideal future will be waiting for me on the other side.
ケイちゃん
What's up? When I opened the front door, I found Shion gazing at me with a puzzled expression. Her eyes were open wide like she was looking at a total stranger.
なんだか違う人みたいに見えてしまって。
We've evolved. Shion tried to hide her feelings behind a smile, but her unease was as clear as day.
遅かったな。
すみません。出がけに変な電話があったんです。
What?
電話？
はい。無言電話でした。
Is that Mion lurking?
かすかに息遣いのような声が聞こえてきて
Ew.
気味が悪くて。
いたずら電話とか？
かもしれませんね。それでいつもより念入りに戸締まりをしてたら遅くなってしまったんです。ごめんなさい。
Shion quickly bowed her head.
でもケイちゃんの顔見たらほっとしました。なんていうか緊張感のかけらもないお顔で。
What if like Mion somehow switched with Shion right now? That'd be crazy. Shion laughed without reservation.
へいへい。どうせ俺は緊張感のない面ですよ。
すねないでくださいよ。
Thanks to Shion, I was finally beginning to relax. However, Shion and I grew silent as we made our way up the stairs, and the oppressive atmosphere quickly returned. All the actors have assembled. Keiichi Maibara, Rena Ryuju, Shion Sonozaki. The three of us confronted one another from a safe distance and looked over the two cards lined up before us. The first card was Hojo Tepe. Indeed, the main character of the night. Despite not being present, he was the starring role. Unbeknownst to him, his time was quickly approaching. A vision of Tepe lazing about while tormenting Satoko came to mind, and it burned in the fires of my heart. Without my emotions boiling over inside me, I turned over the second card. The second card was the perfect crime. Those words had a power to them like a magic spell. This crime is necessary for us to obtain our ideal future. So there mustn't be any holes in our plan. We've gathered here to put together the perfect crime.
レナね、完全犯罪についてちょっと調べてきたんだ。
As Rena said that, she pulled out a college-ruled notebook. Also the song, kind of vibey. She must have put her soul into writing down these thoughts. The paper was warped from intense writing and some of the characters were blurry. Rena was clearly taking this seriously. Yeah, you think?
殺害方法はどんなのでもいいの。必要なのは自分が加害者であることを知られない方法。それだけに尽きるって言ってもいいと思う。
Indeed, there are many criminals out in the world struggling to conceal the truth of their crimes. But they usually ended up destroying themselves. Human beings are imperfect. If small mistakes are made here and there, some of them will line up and allow other people to put the pieces together, and that ultimately ends up casting suspicion on them.
つまりアリバイが必要だってことですね。
That's pretty important.
そうなの。だからレナたちは明日の夜綿流しに行かなくちゃならないの。でも実際は綿流しに行かずに鉄平を殺している。
Runner responded to Shion with a deep nod.
お互いのアリバイをお互いが証明するってことだな。
ね?
私たちは明日無邪気に綿流しを楽しむ。まるで何事もなかったみたいに。
But in reality, we'll be taking Tepe Hojo's life with our own hands. Rana looked like she just did. Just like she did when she strangled that stuffed animal to death inside the station wagon. Wearing a completely nonchalant expression on her face.
あともう一つは目撃者ですね。多分村の人はほとんどお祭りに行くだろうから、その時間帯を狙うのが一番いいと思う。
誰も来ない場所で人知れず鉄平を殺す。
万が一ってこともあるから、なるべく短時間で仕留めないとね。
We assembled our plan to the best of our ability. This was neither a game nor a fantasy. It was reality. I needed to feel something tangible, so I dug my nails into my knees. Then a dull pan ran through my body. Think pain, not pan.
これで加害者と目撃者は消えた。次は被害者の存在を消さなきゃ。
被害者の存在を消す？
被害者が存在しなければ犯罪そのものも存在しなくなる。要するに事件として成立しないってことなの。遺体の処理ですね。うん。絶対に誰にも見つからない場所に隠さなきゃ。
Swamp it? Dude, swamping it's pretty good. Though it's kind of a meme because like it's only like known as like a obviously it's known as like a bottomless swamp because of legends, but like I feel like one of the main gains to Fane is the fact that they think Rika's mom died in there and disappeared. But if they actually like search the swamp, they would find Tepe's body unless it's like fully decomposed, but that would take like a while. A place where nobody will ever find it. A vision of the Onigafuchi swamp suddenly flashed before my eyes. The bottomless swamp, the perfect stage for Tepe to meet his demise.
鬼ヶ淵沼なんてどうだ？あそこなら絶対に誰にもバレないんじゃないか？
Rana frowned in response to my suggestion.
最初はレナもそう思った。 けど圭一君も思ったってことはみんなそう思うってことじゃないかな。
Sure.
警察もまず鬼ヶ淵を疑うはずだよ。
That's a good point. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they would be able to find him.
もしも重い腰を上げて一斉捜索なんてされたら。
確かにレナの言う通りだな。
遺体の移動手段も考える必要がありますね。
We poured our heart and soul into devising the plan, tearing down earlier plans and rebuilding them from the ground up. After breaking it down and repeatedly reworking our plan, we settled on the simplest method. First, we'll invite Satoto to the festival to isolate Tepe. Then we'll pose as a police officer and demand Tepe come to us. Tepe will probably head out on his motorcycle. There's only one road leading out of town from Satoto's house, and it has no streetlights. We'll set up an ambush in the dark by hanging a black rope over the road. Okay, so very, very similar to Keiichi's plan. Once Tepe shows up on his motorcycle, Ren and Xian will pull on the ends of the rope. Tepe will fall off his bike. Then I'll swiftly move in to deliver the killing blow. Ooh, Keiichi gets to kill him. Even though I asked Ren and Xian for their cooperation, I wanted to carry out the actual murder myself. I felt like it was my duty to keep the two of them from becoming murderers. At first, the two of them frowned at my suggestion, but I eventually managed to get through to them, and they're willing to leave everything to me. After the murder, the three of us would carry the corpse and bury it in a hole we prepared in advance. Okay, literally the same. Shin would drive the motorcycle into the Onidofuji swamp. Of course, she knows how to drive one. And Rena will dispose of the murder weapon.
残るは
Again,
凶器だな。
at least this will be much cleaner than Keiichi's plan. Like, I don't actually think, like in Totoro-Goroshi, Tepe will be able to run away and Keiichi just did a new hole. They'd probably just kill him on the spot. We all fell silent once again, overwhelmed by the fact that we were on the verge of killing a man. Then I started staring down at the hand that would be holding the hypothetical murder weapon. It didn't feel real, but oddly enough, my heart didn't feel agitated. It was the peace of mind from not being alone, and the diluted sense of the guilt due to not being alone. We stared each other down to evaluate everyone's convictions.
ナイフとか包丁は手に入りやすいけど返り血を浴びると思うし避けた方がいいと思うな。
それじゃあロープで首を絞めるのは
Ooh.
もしも暴れられたり逃げられたらリスクが大きいよ。
それじゃあ他に何がある
I moved closer to Rena as I asked that. Rena looked up at the ceiling, searching for an answer. Oh, Shion knows. I bet she's down to suggest the bat too. Though she could just taser him, that'd be nice. The next moment, Shion's shoulders began to tremble. Is she crying? Yeah, no. Shion suddenly broke into a laugh.
しーちゃん、
どうしたんだシオン。
私いいこと思いついてしまいました。
いいこと
あいつの息の根を止めるのにふさわしい凶器です。
Satoshi's bat.
バットです。
Yep, classic. Dude, the bat thing always tripped me up in my original read-through. Just because, like, the metal bat was so uncanny. Because, like, a bunch of people used it, but it's literally just coincidence. You know, Keiichi uses it, Satoshi uses it, and Rena used it at her school. I'm like, dude, does the mystery have something to do with, like, does a metal bat have more meaning? I think at one point, at the end of Anutatashi, I actually thought that, maybe, like, I thought that Keiichi didn't kill the people, Rena and Mion in his room, and someone, like, he got knocked out from the drug, and someone came and killed them with the bat and just gave it to him. Something, like, weird like that. I don't know, man. The bat stuff is, it's a good part of the mystery, because it's a nice red herring that I was just chomping on.
さ しくんのバットです。これでサトシくんの恨みを晴らすことができます。そう思ったらおかしくって。
Also, this is definitely Shion, not Mion. No, I thought it was Shion.
ざまあみろですよ。
Shion kept on laughing as tears began spilling out. Excuse me. It suddenly began to shiver. Oh god. You too, Rena?
本当だ。おかしいね。あの男が苦しんで転がり回ってもがいて助けをこうて、それを上から見下ろすなんて最高にいい気分だね。ざまあみろだ。ケイちゃんも一緒に笑いましょう。
It's scary because it's not even Keiichi's paranoia. These are just two high-level syndrome people, like, just vibing off each other.
そうだよ。あの男が死ぬのは喜ばしいことなんだよ。ほら、笑ってください、ケイちゃん。
Wahahaha.
ケイチくん、笑って。笑って。笑って。笑って。
Spooky? Possible thumbnail? Laugh. Blah ha 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 ha. I'm laughing really scary. Ha 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 ha. I let out a deep laugh from the bottom of my gut. Despite our current situation, I roared with laughter. Once Tepe is gone, Satoto will be happy again. That thought was so hilarious, I couldn't help myself. Just laughing and laughing. A single teardrop escaped me for some reason. It's hard on copium, dude. Suddenly, a lifeless sound brought me back to reality. I gently wiped my tears away before anyone could notice, then got up and left the room. After opening the door of my room, I was surrounded by the lukewarm air of the house and its distinct smell. It filled me with a cozy, nostalgic sensation. My normal, everyday life in this house and a single corpse will both undoubtedly disappear from this world tomorrow.
もしもし。
Oh, is she? Oh no, it's the creepy person. I bet it's Mion for some reason. I mean, who else would it be at this point?
もしもし、どちら様ですか？
I don't hear the breathing. Yeah, I could hear someone breathing softly on the other end of the phone.
もしもし、
Moshi moshi?
いたずら電話なら切りますよ。もしも、
Is it Hanyu? The caller hung up without making a sound. I felt an aging discomfort as I hung up the receiver. Then I turned on my heels and started heading back to my room. Once again, the telephone started ringing. I hesitated for a moment before putting my hand on the receiver. I didn't say anything, and I tried my best to discern the identity of the caller. Yeah! Mion, save us! We're doomed! Betray them! Betray them! Leave the kill squad! Run away with Mion! My concerns immediately vanished. It was Mion's voice.
ミオンか？ケイちゃん？お前、さっき電話かけたか？
かけてないけど。
Oh, what the fuck? Never mind. That's really weird. If it's not Mion, I don't think it's Rika, to be honest. I think she's already tuckered out from this. Like, is it a Wishi? It's like about it.
どうかしたの？
いや、なんでもない。
It's freaking Hanyu, dude. Stop calling Hanyu. No one can hear you.
お前こそなんだよ。何かあったのか？
ケイちゃん、ちょっと変だよ。
Yep.
そっちこそ何かあったんじゃない？
別に何もないぞ。
ならいいけど、明日のことでちょっとね。
明日？
お祭りのこと。
Oh no, is Mion gonna ask Keiichi to take Satoko? And Mion's gonna kill Teppei as the ultimate twist?
祭りか。
本
I don't know.
大丈夫？
That'd be hilarious if Mion gets to it first.
ああ、寝起きだからさ。
It would probably
頭
fuck
が
them
うま
over
く回
too,
転してな
but
いんだ。
well, not really.
なんだ、寝てたんだ。
いい感じで爆睡してたよ。ミオンに起こされるまではな。
Keiichi, don't lie. People can literally read your face over the phone.
ごめんごめん。
I had to carefully choose my response one word at a time to avoid making Mion suspicious.
でさ、明日お祭り来るでしょ？
一応行くつもりだけど。
けど、何？
いやいや、ちゃんと行くって。レナと一緒に行く約束してるからさ。
No.
へえ、レナと一緒なんだ。
Oh no. Hey, at least you can see it. I could picture the sorrowful look in Mion's eyes at the other end of the phone. The loneliness of believing that your friends left you out. Okay, well, I guess that also too. I knew that feeling, so I tried to find the words to make things right.
ミオンももちろん行くだろ。現地で合流しようぜ。
そうだね。うん。ケイちゃん一人だったらって心配だったんだけど、レナと一緒なら安心だね。
それってどういう意味だ？
あ、ごめん、なんでもない。あ、もう切らなくちゃ。それじゃあ明日ね。おやすみ。
Mion hung up the phone without waiting for an answer. My stomach twisted as I set down the receiver. Okay, I don't think Mion's chilling. If I'm with Rena, I'll put Mion's heart at ease. Or maybe. Dude, this is gonna be freaking messy, dude. I was consumed by an inexplicable insecurity as I pondered the meaning of those words. Not wanting to be bogged down by those thoughts, I made my way back up the stairs toward my room. But I stopped myself before reaching the second floor. The door should have been closed, but it was open. The light from my room illuminated the dimly lit hallway, casting two shadows on the wall. But the two shadows quickly disappeared back into the room as though they sensed my presence. Or were they snooping on the phone? Yeah. Were they listening to my phone call? They followed behind me and concealed their breathing so they could keep an eye on me. Why? We had already come to the agreement to protect each other's secrets. So Ren and Qian were hiding behind the scenes, watching me to make sure I didn't leak any secrets. Could that be what the two of them were doing? Rena, Xian, and I. The three of us shared a firm, intricately intertwined bond. It'll stay with us for the rest of our lives. Even if it rusts and fades, our bond will last until we die. But somehow it felt like the two of them were drifting farther and farther away. When I returned to the room, Ren and Xian welcomed me back as if nothing had happened. Seeing the smiles on their faces only made me feel more anxious.
電話、誰からだったのかな？かな？
なんでそんなこと聞くんだ？
気になっただけだよ。ケイチ君、なんだか怖い顔してる。
No snooping. That's because you guys were spying on me, hypocrites. Though, to be fair, Teishi might have just been seeing stuff too. Because he also should be, like, fairly high level too.
ケイチ君、私たちに隠し事してないかな？
I do think they were snooping.
隠し事なんかしてないぞ。お前らの方こそ、俺に隠れてこそこそ何してやがった？
I asked that in exasperation, but Rena just bit her lip and refused to answer. However, Xian stepped forward and pointed a challenging gaze at me.
一体何が言いたいのですか？
とぼけんなよ。
Oh, maybe Teishi was actually just seeing things. Okay, that also made sense.
お前ら、さっきの電話に聞き耳立てていただろ。
聞き耳？ずいぶん人聞きの悪いこと言うんですね。
I actually think Teishi. Okay, I mean that makes sense. Oh God, everyone's too crazy.
まさか誰かに入れ知恵でもされたんですか？
なんだそれは。言いがかりかよ。
ケイチ君、やっぱりおじけづいたんだ。
Rena muttered those words, then looked up at me with doubt in her eyes.
裏切る気なんだ。圭一君、誰かに告げ口してたんだ。
はあどうしてそうなるんだ
I'm not a snitch. Though if Mion asked.
陥れる気だったんだ。ずっと騙
Oh
してた。
god. Dude, are we just all gonna die right here?
味方のふりして。
But then who
偽
was
善者
phone?
ずらして。汚い、汚い、汚い、汚い。
Oh god. Rena's delusions were taking a leap too far. The rage burning inside her left me stunned.
うまく出し抜いたと思ってるの？
Dude, we're gonna fucking die.
かわいそう。かわいそうな圭一君。圭一君は悪い子。邪悪で不潔。
Oh god.
罰が当たるよ。お社様の罰が当たるよ。
Her low-pitched laughter sounded like feet scraping along the floor. Rena flashed a death glare in my direction and rose to her feet as I stood there in bewilderment. Then she moved closer to me, closing in on her prey.
誰？さっきの電話は誰？
Rena opened her eyes wide with a bloodthirsty expression. I instinctively turned around to try and escape, but Shion was standing behind me to cut me off.
なんなんだお前ら
まさかさっきの電話、ひょっとしてお姉からじゃないですか？
True?
みーちゃんが。どうしてなの？レナさんは黙っててください。
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Rena. I'm joking. Shion shot Rena down with an intense stare, then approached me.
お姉に何を喋ったんです？
別に何も喋ってないぞお祭りに行くかって聞かれただけだよ
本当にそれだけですか？
I mean, it literally, was. I fiercely nodded my head.
信じていいんですね。
俺は何一つやましいことはしてない
True, actually true. Don't get gaslit,
お
Keiichi.
前らこそ信じていいのかよ
Our eyes crossed as we tried to evaluate each other's convictions. Rena and Shion lightly nodded their heads, but was that a nod of agreement or a solemn act of resignation? It's not the kind of thing that would tear apart our friendship, right? We need to stand together in our mission to help Satoko. We were shivering from excitement, tension, and the fear of being on the verge of carrying out a murder. That had all of us feeling especially nervous, so we were suspecting each other more than necessary. In the meantime, I decided it would be better to calm down and study my breathing.
それにしてもどうして今頃私たちがここに集まっていることを知っているみたいに。お姉のことだから何か気づいているのかも。
She just likes Keiichi. Relax.
考
Shion.
えすぎじゃないか
Also, she's claiming not to be the breather.
まさかミオンだって千里眼は持ってないだろ
That's Rika. She's the psychic.
でもお姉の目は2つだけじゃないんですよ。
第三の目でもおでこに隠してるってのか漫画の読みすぎだろ
True.
第3どころか少なくとも100近くの目を持ってますよ。
なんだそれはミオンは化け物か
前にも言ったはずです。ここはひなみ沢なんです。
Yeah,
Somebody-
yeah.
ミオン本人だけじゃない
It's true. Technically.
村人全員に注意しろってことか
明日の夜すべてが終わってからもしばらくは気をつけた方がいいと思います。
そうだな
レナ、ちょっと思ったんだけど。
After finally regaining her composure, Rena timidly interrupted when she saw the look on Xian's face.
みーちゃんなら計画のことを話してもいいんじゃないかな。
I mean, if Mian agreed, it would go way better, to be honest. But still,
絶対ダメです。
Xian's not into it.
でもみーちゃんだってさとこちゃんのことすごく心配してるし、
I'd trade a Xian for a Mian.
分かってくれると思うよ。いくら仲間だからってお姉は市場に流されたりしません。
Ah,
あれでも園崎家の当主ですから。さとこを阻害する村の連中と同じだと思った方がいいですよ。
chill.
いえ、それ以上かも。最も計画を気取られてはいけない人物だと思ってください。お姉に知れたら全てが失敗に終わります。
Well, she saved Keiichi last time, so. As Rena listened to that explanation, her quiet breathing ceased, and she once again began to tense up. And then she started trembling so intensely that it was tearing into the tatami mats. Jesus.
邪魔するやつ。
She didn't do anything right now.
絶対許さない。許さない。許さない。
This is anti-Mion propaganda. No matter what happens, we can't let this plan fail, even if that means betraying one of my old friends. We all stared each other down, engraving our thoughts into each other's hearts. After a while, Shion picked up the notebook we casually set down.
こ
Then,
れを始末しなくてはいけませんね。
we nodded in agreement, then headed to the parlor. There's a huge... Oh, what the fuck? I didn't do anything. There's a huge ashtray on the table covered in dust. Dust. Rip rip. Rena remained expressionless as she tore the notebook apart. Rip rip. Then she took the pieces that fell out and cut them into even smaller pieces. Just burn it. I don't think you even need to rip the paper up. You could have just burnt it. I gathered the scraps and piled them on top of the ashtray, then grabbed a match. Ooh. A single plume of smoke released as a small, pale flame began to burn. The flames sizzled as they spread, covering the white pages in black. We sat there silently, with our hearts crackling, full of burning, hot, murderous intent. I held my breathing and watched as the flames slowly turned to ash. This was all for our ideal future. That was all we could think about. Once the flames burnt out, all that remained was a pile of murky black ashes. Excuse me. Almost like the embodiment of the spirit of doubt that none of us could shake off. Shion slowly poured water over the ashtray to extinguish any lasting embers. The dice have been thrown. Murder's the only option. I returned to my room, alone, after Ren and Shion went home, and tried to get some sleep. The insomnia I had been suffering for the past 2 days continued, but starting tomorrow, my nights will no longer be haunted by these depressing thoughts. I clenched my fist. I could feel the sensation of gripping a bat throughout my entire body. With these hands, I'm going to kill him. When I held out my hand in the darkness, it seems like I caught a glimpse of the future in the dazzling lights coming through the gaps between my fingers. And so, my entire body tasted a sensation that I had never felt before. Chapter break. Okay. I mean, we got the plan. We got a mysterious breather, who still might be Mion, by the way. And we have Mion, who I don't even think is suspecting anything. She just noticed that, like, all our friends are being weirdos right now. But anyways, guys, we're gonna end the episode here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, plan is set. All that's left is to take action at the Watanashi today. So, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and see you next time on some more Higurashi console arts.